Georgetown, are you guys ready for your headline? Are you ready for your headline? Please make a big round of applause for my good friend, the hilarious Shannon Mugridge.
What's up, y'all? Yeah, I got a good crowd tonight, man. Y'all are lively as fuck. This is awesome. Now, let's give it up to Barrel Lamps for putting this on, man. This is a great show. We have a good thing here. Beating everybody else. It's a great lineup. I'm proud to be a part of it, man. Now, me and my wife, we just celebrated our 16-year wedding anniversary just about a month ago. Yeah, thank you. And I had a female friend that told me, she's like, you know, she's got you well trained. I was like, yeah, she does. I mean, I don't shit on the floor anymore. Let's go to the back door and scratch like a good boy, so lets me out. I mean, I do hump her leg every now and then, but we're consenting adults, so that's okay. You know, it's a thing we have, man. But when you're married that long, though, you get to a point that you do things and you don't even realize that you do it. Like, I call myself a human Alexa. You know, this is how it works. Like, hey, that light bulb's out. You're like, ordering light bulbs. You know, or we need groceries, making a grocery list. You know, he's like, I'm not satisfied, and placing the batteries. You know? Like I said, married 16 years, we got 3 kids, they're 9, 8, and 6, 2 girls and a boy. We have 3 dogs and a cat. So our house is a fucking just chaos all the time, man. There's always something fighting, tearing something up, or shitting in a corner somewhere around the house, man. It's a constant battle, man. You always try to keep up with it. But like I said, we got 3 dogs. We got a 13-year-old Chihuahua that's just a little bitch. She really is, man. She's just old and just ornery. And we have a Siberian Husky that we just got. And we also have a Pit Bull Lab mix. And this Pit Bull Lab mix, he is the most hyper fucking dog I've ever had in my life, man. Like, this dog, he's 2 years old now. He still jumps the fence, jumps on people, licks and chews on shit all the time, man. And I've tried everything to calm this dog down, and nothing worked at all, man. And so finally I told my wife, I was like, I'm just gonna get this little fucker stoned. Like, I don't care anymore. I really don't. And it worked. It did work. It calmed him down, but I can't do it too early in the morning, because if I do, all we do is sit around eating Cheetos and watching Paw Patrol all day. You know, we don't get shit done around the house all day long, man. But all 3 of them, though, we have to kennel them right at night. And I live in Austin, and everybody knows how Austin is when it comes to the dogs and shit like that. And I had a girl tell me, she's like, that's inhumane. If you have dogs, they should sleep in your bed. And I told her, I was like, well, it just seemed like a waste of money to throw the kennels away when the kids outgrow them, you know? It still worked great. Why the fuck would I do that? Oh, shit. Now, one of my favorite things to do is to fuck with my friends that don't have kids. You know, I have a friend that just got married. He's been married a year now. And one day he was hanging out with me and my oldest daughter. She was around 3 at the time. And she just threw her head back and just started crying and freaking out for absolutely no reason at all. And he looks over at me and he's like, so when did they stop doing that? And I pointed at my wife. I was like, dude, she's in her 30s and she still does it, so I have no fucking idea. I think it's a lifelong thing. I really do, man. Yeah, like I said, he's been married a year, no kids yet. So, but now, like I said, we have 3 kids. We tried for a long time to have kids, and it just didn't happen, man. And we did all the testing, we did everything that you had to do to have kids. It just never happened. Even had one doctor that told us, he's like, look, man, everything checks out. You just need to have a whole lot of sex. And I looked at my wife, and I was like, this guy studied a lot in school. I really like him. I'm gonna keep him around. He seems like he knows what he's talking about. But one of the tests that I had to get done was a testicular sonogram. Yeah, it's as awkward as it sounds. It really is. And to get one of these tests, first of all, you gotta shave everything down there. And then you go into this fucking room, and you lay on the table, they put your dick on your stomach, and put a towel over it, and it's just your nuts hanging out. And to top this off, my wife is sitting right here when this is going on. And then the nurse comes in and she puts warm gel on your balls, and then she rubs your balls for 15 minutes with a wand. Now, it's awkward. And the thing is, there's entire sections of Pornhub dedicated to this, you know, and I know I'm not alone. I know everybody knows this. Yeah. And like I said, my wife's sitting here, it's quiet in the room, and the nurse walks in, and she's smoking fucking hot. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You've got to be fucking kidding me, man. So I'm laying there, and this is going down, right? And I'm just trying to think of anything to get my mind off of what's going on down there, you know? And it's just dead silent in the room, and I'm like, I gotta think of something different. So I'm like, 85 Bears had the best defense ever, the 96 fucking, and then it hits me, I'm like, why am I thinking of athletic men in tight clothes while a hockey nurse is rubbing my nuts? You know? What the fuck's going on? Did I just come out in my head? I'm so fucking confused right now. I don't like this anymore. This is not fun. And this is going on in my head, right? It's silent in the room, and all of a sudden my wife pops out, and she's like, so you remember all those times you asked me for a threesome? Is this what you imagined? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Right now? Are you fucking serious, man? And her and the nurse didn't get this great laugh out of it, you know? And once it dies down, I'm like, well, the nurse is a nice touch, but in my fantasy, both girls were laughing at me when I had my pants down. It went a little different in my head, man. But like I said, we tried, did all the testing, and it just didn't happen, man. And so finally we ended up adopting. And we did one private adoption, and we did 2 CPS adoptions. And the 2 CPS adoptions, we did those at the same time. And I'll give a little advice to anybody here that's thinking of adopting, because it can be a little expensive. It is so much cheaper to buy kids in bulk through the state than it is to buy one as a single on the open market. It really is, man. It's ridiculous how much cheaper it is. It is. And I'll give you an example. Like the private adoption, it costs about $7,000, all together. And the 2 CPS adoptions that we did at the same time cost $250. Like they cover everything, man. And just to put that in perspective, that Siberian Husky I mentioned earlier, she cost $500. So I think I got 4 kids for that price. And the thing too, also, if you go for private adoption, you're responsible for the insurance, the dental, everything else their whole life. And if you go through CPS, the kid has insurance until they're 18. So the kid comes with a warranty. Now, it's not about the dog didn't come with that. That's not a bad deal, man. It's really not. It's a low deductible, there's no drop off in quality. Same kind of kid you'd get anywhere else, man. Yeah, my wife fucking hates that bit. She hates that bit so bad, man. And she even told me, she's like, I hate it when you joke about the adoptions like that. And I was like, okay, first of all, babe, they're just jokes. And second of all, I absolutely love our little Groupons. Like, I think they're awesome. They have a lot of my life, man. Oh, shit. But I grew up with the name Shannon, and I always said I would never have a son and name him Shannon. Because I grew up out in Odessa, Texas with the name Shannon in the 80s and 90s. And I'll tell you, Boy Named Sue is my theme song. I swear, that's just, I fucking hate my name. I've grown to like it because I'm old now and I don't give a shit anymore. When I was a kid, I hated it. But I tried like hell though, and she put the hard no on both of them. But I tried to let me name one of the girls Shannon just because I want to fuck with people because I want to call her Junior for the rest of her life. She was a hard no on that one, man. But I have noticed one thing being a parent, and it's always the parents that have the kids that are fully grown, out of the house, doing their own thing. And when my kids do something fucked up, they're like, oh, well, you know, you're going to miss this. You should cherish these moments. You don't get them back. And, you know, and I get it. Look, I know there's things that I'm going to miss. There's always things you're going to miss. But nobody ever talks about the shit that is the stuff you're not going to miss. You know, like, one thing that happened recently that was pretty funny, actually. We lost the keys to the car. And it was like 2 days. We couldn't find the keys anywhere in the house. And so my wife just went full spring cleaning mode on the house and sent my 6-year-old son into the bedroom closet to look for the keys. And he comes walking out with their 6-speed battery-operated Bullet. Yeah. And I was like, that's not the keys. It is the keys to something. It's not the keys we're looking for. Yeah. And my wife, she's like, get that away from him. And I grab it, and it's buzzing. I was like, well, batteries are good still. That's a plus. And my 6-year-old son, he's like, yeah, it's magic. I was like, oh, your mom thinks so. Your mom does. Yes.
Fuck you!
Yeah. Your mom's an atheist, and I've seen her talk to God with that thing before, so it is magic. It is.
Oh, yes.
Now, another time, when my little ladybug was 2 years old, we went to McDonald's. And she climbed to the top of the slide at McDonald's and ripped off her shitty diaper. And then she slid down the slide and left a shit stain from the top of the slide all the way to the bottom of the slide. She went down real fast. Went all the way down, man. So yeah, that's not going to the precious memory scrapbook. You know, that's not. As a matter of fact, that's why we're a Burger King family now. I mean, exclusively. See, that's one thing nobody ever tells you about being a parent is all the shit you got to put up with. And I'm not talking about back talk. I'm talking about shit. They shit all the time. I don't know. They don't know where it comes from half the time. And you know the thing is, we had a kid in diapers, at least one kid in diapers for 7 years. And y'all, there are people that commit felonies don't get prison sentences that long. You know? It's just inhumane. It's not cool, man. But now we're stuck at home with them. You know, you got the whole Zoom classes and everything else going on. And I love my kids, I just don't like hanging out with them. You know, I love them to death. But the way I look at it is, if your kids are on Zoom classes and you're not fucking with them, are you really a dad? I mean, come on, that's low-hanging fruit, man, that really is. Like, my 9-year-old daughter, she'll be on Zoom and it'll be her turn to talk. You know, and she'll be like, this is my kitty cat. And I'll just walk by her, so, brrr. And just keep walking. Like, God damn, girl, what did you eat last night? Fuck, I'm gonna mute that next time. And she's just sitting there with the cat just mortified. You said low-hanging fruit, man. See, school used to be the break, though. That used to be the parents' chance to get, you know, sit around for 6-7 hours a day eating junk food. I could talk my wife into having day sex in the living room, you know, or sit around, smoke pot with a dog and watch Paw Patrol if I wanted to, or do whatever the fuck I wanted, you know. But I can't do that shit. Now I gotta be the teacher. And I'm finding out real quick that I'm a good dad, but I'm a really shitty teacher. Like, I'm really bad at this, man. And it's not from lack of trying or patience or anything. I just suck at it. I really do. You just have to admit when you suck at something. And I am so bad at this. Like, my 8-year-old daughter, she got fucking destroyed by the word am. A-M. That's serious. Like, she would be reading a sentence and get to am and just stop dead in her fucking tracks. And I would get frustrated and I'd walk away and I'd try to keep a cool mood about it. And then I'd come back and she'd read a word like coincidental. And I'm like, you're just fucking with me now. I know you're just fucking with me now, kid. This is bullshit. You know? And there's a deeper reason why I want to be a good teacher for my kids. Because, let's just put it, best way to put it is the stripper doesn't fall too far from the pole of my family tree. It doesn't, man. It doesn't. My mom's a stripper, my cousin was a stripper, my niece was a stripper, the biological mother that we adopted the kids from was a stripper, so she got it in her blood, she just doesn't know it yet, you know? And even when she was like 4 years old, we were standing outside, there was a parking sign, she's like, Dad, look at this, and she grabs the pole, puts her foot back and her head back, and just spins around perfect form, and I'm like, don't ever fucking do that in front of me again. Ever. Don't ever fucking do that again. She just doesn't know, man. She doesn't know that it's right there. It interferes with me being a good dad in another way, too, because we've considered sending them back to school. But I know how that conversation's going to go in 10 years. Like, you don't love me. You sent me to school during a pandemic. You're like, you couldn't say am, motherfucker. Come on. What the fuck was I supposed to do? Come on. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, look at that village better be bringing a bunch of good fucking weed with them, man. It's fucking, Jesus Christ, just legalize that shit already. Yeah. It's a lockdown. Everybody's on edge. Everybody's tense with this lockdown. It's been going on for way too goddamn long to begin with. But if y'all think back to the beginning of it, I crack up every time I think about it, because if you remember, all the men on Facebook and social media were fucking with the women, you're like, oh, you can't get your hair done, you can't get your nails done, what a catastrophe. And then they canceled Major League Baseball March Madness NBA Finals. Yeah. And these guys are like, this is communist bullshit, get my gun can, we're going to Capitol. And they did. They did. I thought it'd take a lot more to start an armed revolution in America, but apparently not. It doesn't take much, man. It really doesn't. But I'm glad I got sports back in some form. I mean, it's still weird watching. But the one thing I'm going to miss is just a shit talk. Hanging out with your friends and talking shit for 3 hours in a football game. That's one of my favorite things to do, you know? Like, I can watch football at home, but nobody's there, so I can talk to my dog, I guess. You know, I don't know. But I just want to sit down, turn on the Cowboys game, grab a beer and some pizza, look at my buddy and be like, hey man, you know the difference between coronavirus and the Cowboys? Yeah, they're still going to be talking about coronavirus in January, buddy. Man, just talk shit for 3 hours, you know? That's just the way you're supposed to do it, man. But see, the thing is, I was born and raised in Texas, and I've never been a Cowboys fan. I was an Oilers fan, and they moved. And the thing with the Cowboys is, you don't become a Cowboys fan. You're either born a Cowboys fan or you fucking hate them. It's just the way it works here, you know? And I have friends that, I'm an atheist too, and I'll tell people I'm an atheist, and they're like, well, you know, the Lord works in mysterious ways, you know, he'll find salvation one day. And I'm like, well, I don't like the Cowboys either. They're like, get the fuck out of my house, you godless heathen! I don't fuck around with that shit. Well, like I said, lockdown's got everybody crazy. You can't do shit anymore. And even social media has become a complete fucking shit show. You know, you can't even get on there. Everybody wants to fight and fucking argue all the time. And I swear to God, in the last 6 months, more people have finished their degrees in constitutional law and medicine than I've ever seen in my life. Everybody's a goddamn expert nowadays. That's ridiculous. It really is. And I've noticed that it's a generational thing. Because I'm 45, and I didn't grow up with social media. You know, like you can tell the kids that did grow up with it though, because they'll talk shit to you so much on Facebook, and then you see them the next day and they're like, hey buddy, what's going on? And you're like, what the fuck? You know? I posted a video yesterday and said, hey, I think it's kind of cool to know penguins take care of the eggs. And you called me a cuck. So fuck off. You know? But that's even worse though whenever it's people you grew up with. You know, people that you know in your whole, the ones you partied with till 5 in the morning doing cocaine and whoring around with. And now they're all high and mighty. You know, they got this God attitude. And look, I have no problem with people finding salvation. Do your thing, just don't fucking preach it to me, that's all. You know, and I had a friend whose daughter posted a picture online, and another friend of ours started slut-shaming her for the picture. And at first I was like, you know, it's not my fight, we're going to stay out. And then it got too bad, man. And finally I piped in and I was like, look, man, I remember in the 7th grade, you're letting boys look up your skirt for a bag of Skittles, and by the 8th grade, you're letting them taste the fucking rainbow. So I don't know where this fucking Puritan bullshit's coming from. But I was there. I was fucking there, man. And the thing is, I can talk politics all day with anybody. Red, blue, green, purple. I don't give a fuck what color you are. I don't care as long as you're respectful. But there is one group of people that I cannot talk to, and that's fucking idiots. And they are fucking everywhere. They're everywhere, and they got an opinion on everything, man. It's ridiculous. You know, I had a friend that told me, she said that she was a Republican because she's anti-slavery. I was like, it's 2020. I thought that was settled. You know, that's not, I also think that women should vote and black people should be drinking from fountains too. You know? I didn't know I had to declare that in 2020. But another group that I love fucking with though are conspiracy theorists. Oh my God. I love fucking with them so bad. It's so easy to get them going. It really is, man. And the thing is though, if you are a conspiracy theorist, this is your fucking golden era. I mean, it really is. Everything you've ever preached about is kind of coming to pass, you know? So, I still fuck with it. But now it gets to the point where I just like fucking with them to the point where like, when they get going, I like telling them shit like, hey man, I know you don't like the government, but other than Freemasons, Illuminati, chemtrails, Area 51, JFK assassination, Jimmy Hoffa, Watergate, Iran-Contra, weapons of mass destruction, and Epstein killing himself, they've always been pretty straight with us, man. So I don't know where all this hate's coming from, man. Just watch the fucking head explode in real time. It's fucking great, man. But see, this thing, the lockdown fucks with me, but I'm prior Navy, and also I lived through another apocalypse. You know, I made it through Y2K at 24. You know, I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember that, but they thought the world was going to end because the computer couldn't read a fucking zero. You know? And you know, that was the first time in my life that I realized that the media will hype shit up to try to scare the shit out of people. You know, and then I never really caught it before. But then one day I was sitting there watching the news, and they're talking about how electricity's going to go out, planes are going to crash to the ground, and all the prison doors are going to open. I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense, you know, logically. But then they said, at midnight, there will be packs of dogs roaming the streets. Yeah, I'm going to need to see a source on this one. I don't know where you're getting this information from, because that doesn't make sense. Because, I mean, I'll tell you how quick it falls apart. When the dogs unionize and like the spokes dog, you know, you come out and say, hey, we attack at midnight. What's midnight? I don't know, I'm a fucking dog. And it falls apart right there. So, where's the source on this, man? I need to know where this is coming from. But, now, like I said, I was 24 when that happened. My little brother was 22. And we were like, you know what? If we're going to die tonight, let's go out in style, man. So we dropped 10 hits of acid. Yeah. Each. 10 hits each, I'm sorry. Yeah. And I really wanted to write a funny bit about that, but I don't remember a fucking thing because I dropped 10 hits out of it. Not really a memory-enhancing drug. I did look at my dog and be like, don't attack at midnight? She's like, nah. I was like, cool, let's have some fun, you know? But y'all can't tell me fuck up with my dog so long, man. But even before the kids and everything else, I used to do some really cool shit. I joined the Navy at 27. I was a late bloomer. And I used to do concert promotions. I used to go to 5-6 concerts a month, man. It was a blast. So when I walked up and somebody's like, hey, that's the dude that sold me acid at Rage Against the Machine in 96. And like, yeah, I had some side hustles too, man. And when I was 19, I worked for Willie Nelson for a short time too, man. And that was the fucking shit. Willie is the coolest motherfucker ever, man. And people always ask, when I tell them that story, they always ask me the same question. They're like, so does Willie always have good weed? And the best way I can describe that is something I heard a long time ago is that Willie's got the kind of weed that makes you want to fold the dishes. Right? It'll fuck you up, man. It really will. It's cool as shit. Another job that I had in my 20s that I would never do in my 40s, I worked for 2 girls that did private stripper shows. And like I said, it didn't pay a whole lot, but when you're 25 years old, that's a really perfect job. You know, that's what you And the girl I was dating at the time, she fucking hated that job so much. And she even told me, she's like, you're nothing but a pimp. I'm like, I am not a pimp. And she's like, really, what do you do for these girls? I'm like, well, I book a show, then I go with them, then I collect the money, and then I take my cut and I give them their cut. And I'm not going to win this argument, am I? I walked right into that one. Holy shit, man. But it wasn't long after that I joined the Navy. And a funny thing happened when I went to boot camp. I went from pimp to whore like overnight. It was instantaneous, man. They knocked that shit out real quick, man. But I had a blast. I went around the world twice. I did a Westpac. I went to the Middle East 3 times, all over the world, man. But I've never forgotten the very first day that I was on the ship. My LPO pulled me aside, and he's like, hey, man, there's plenty of girls out in San Diego. Just don't mess with the girls on the ship. It'll just get you in trouble. You know, it's kind of a don't shit or eat kind of conversation. And he said, last deployment, we had 67 people get caught fucking on the ship. I was like, wow. How the fuck did you get an odd number? Maybe this place ain't gonna be so bad after all, you know? But anybody that served knows that when you're in the military for a certain amount of time, you don't have a first name anymore. It's fucking gone. It's completely gone. Like 2 years after, I've been out for 10 years. It took about 2 years before I answered people. I just ignored and kept walking, you know? But some of the names that you find, they're so interesting. And the one that stands out the most to me that I've ever seen in the Navy, we had a guy whose last name was Mycock, M-Y-C-O-C-K. And they let this poor kid join the Navy with that name, which, that's so fucked up to do to him, man. Because if sailors love anything, it's a good dick joke, and he's a walking dick joke. Come on, man. It went around for years. It'd be like, I saw my cock down in medical, or my cock was out smoking on the smoke deck, and I was just this running joke for like 3 fucking years, man. And one day I talked, he's a really nice guy. I talked to him one day and I was like, how do you keep a positive attitude when everybody's always fucking with you like this? And he's like, well, you gotta find a way to turn it around on them. And he said that he was in a training class and this chief came up to him on the second day and was like, man, I tried to tell my wife about you last night, but I just couldn't say it. And he's like, oh, so you couldn't get my cock out of your mouth in front of my wife? In front of your wife? That's how you do it, man. Now I'm out dealing with the fucking VA all the time, and the VA is a magical place if you've never been to the VA. It really is, man. But there's a new bill that's being proposed in the Senate, and if this bill becomes law, it will allow VA doctors to prescribe medical marijuana to eligible veterans. And it got my attention because I smoke pot and I'm an eligible veteran. You gotta keep up with the shit that's important to you, you know. But I don't get how this is gonna work because for my whole life, the government's been telling me not to smoke pot, it's bad for you, and now they're just gonna become a dealer? You know, how the fuck's that gonna work? I don't see how this is gonna work. I don't trust them either. I don't trust the VA, I don't trust the government. I'm gonna show up and get my free weed, and they're gonna be like, ha, you're going to Afghanistan now, motherfucker! Like, god damn it, I knew it was too good to be true. Fuck! Like, do I get the weed? Come on. And I don't trust them to get it right. It's the fucking VA. If anybody can fuck up a sure thing, it's the VA. They will fuck up free weed. They will find a way to fuck up free weed. And you gotta think about this too. The guy in charge of the VA, he was put in charge by a guy that bankrupted a fucking casino. So I have no faith in any of these motherfuckers to get this right, man. They will find a way to fuck it up. They really will. And I don't know how it's gonna work. I mean, am I just gonna show up in the VA one day? There's gonna be a white kid behind the counter with dreadlocks and a Rastafarian hat on, and I'm gonna. Hey man, for that PTSD, you need some Maui Mountain to go fucking bro. This is the best train got, man. And after I get my weed, do I have to sit in the lobby for 20 minutes and so I don't too much foot traffic, you know, and draw too much attention to the VA? Or do I drive up there and then I get in the parking lot and just text them, hey, I'm here, and then I wait for some 20-year-old kid to jump in the front seat with a backpack? Like, hey man, don't park on the light next time. Fuck, sorry, here's my script, you know? No, I just don't get how it's gonna work. I really don't. And the thing is with the VA too, is that if you need a medical device, like say I needed a breathing machine or I needed a leg brace, something like that, you get it free. It's prescribed to you. So is a bong, is that a medicinal delivery system now? Can I get a bong from the VA? And I wouldn't trust that one either because those fucking assholes that make it out of asbestos and have cancer in 20 fucking years or some shit, they'd fuck that up too. But everybody that knows veterans knows that older veterans, we do have a reputation for being just assholes, you know, the rude assholes all the time. And now that I'm an older veteran, I can confirm that that's actually really true. Because we just get tired of dealing with people, man. But the thing is, if you start giving free weed to veterans, though, that would change so fast. It really will. You'd have a bunch of happy veterans walking around. You wouldn't even have to wear the hat anymore. It tells you where you served. You know, it'd just be like, hey son, you see that guy over there destroying that bag of Cheetos, stoned out of his fucking mind? Yeah, Dad. Yeah, he's a veteran. You can walk over there and thank him for his service, son. And a kid will walk over there and be like, thank you for your service, sir. He's like, thanks for the Maui Mountain. Go fuck your kid. This shit's fucking awesome, man. Oh shit, man. Now, my wife told me recently that I don't even look or sound like a veteran anymore. And I've been out 10 years. And I was like, I'm gonna call bullshit on that one. Because I grew my hair out, I don't shave, and I bitch about the VA and the government online all day. So I'm basically the veteran starter kid at this point, you know? It really doesn't get any more basic than that. It really doesn't. But it has come back and bite me in the ass, this look that I have going on. I went to buy a gun recently because I'm from Texas and it was a Tuesday. There's really no other fucking reason for it, man. But I gave the guy my CHL, and when he looks at it, that picture's from 10 years ago. And so it doesn't look anything like it looks now. He looks at it, he looks at me, looks at me, looks at it again, he goes and runs it, and everything checks out. But it kind of annoyed me. And when I got home, I told my wife about it, and she's like, well, he's kind of in the same boat that I'm in. I was like, oh, really? What do you mean? And she's like, well, just like that picture, when I met you, you were clean shaven and just short haircut. And now you look like Forrest Gump after he's been running for about 3 months. I don't run anymore, sweetheart. Oh, shit. Nah, but the thing is, I want to take my kids shooting one day. I do. That's a goal of mine one day. They're too young now. Like, they're 9, 8, 6. They're not responsible enough in my eyes. But I've noticed that I can teach them how to, the basics of gun safety with Nerf guns. And we have Nerf guns. I fucking live there in Fallujah half the time, man. The cat's got PTSD. He's like, I can't go back in there, man. But with the Nerf gun, I can teach them the little things, you know, like keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Always assume there's a round in the chamber. Don't shoot your sister in the fucking face when she makes you mad. You know, these little things that are really important when we're playing with the real guns, you know. But my son gets in trouble with it though. I gotta be the bad guy and I gotta take the guns away. And when I do that, my son turns into this little 6-year-old Second Amendment nut storming upstairs like a fucking liberal's always taking my goddamn guns. It's the cutest thing ever. I told my wife, it's just a matter of time where I go to take it. He's like, you know, my Nerf gun and be proud for my cold dead hands down. Those dudes gonna be building Lego walls around the property line to keep the bad Pokemon out, you know? Or a red hat says make recess great again or some shit. Now, one of my favorite things to do with them whenever school was going on, I loved picking them up from school because I have all 3 of them in the car and I can ask them about their day and I had some of the coolest conversations with them. But don't get me wrong, there were times when it turned into an elementary school fucking cage match back there and it wasn't so cool. And that was going on one day and I was driving by a nursing home and I remember I looked right at that nursing home and I was like, God damn, that place looks peaceful. That looks so peaceful. I bet they let me watch TV, I could fucking sleep if I wanted to. But some of the conversations I'd have with them were so great. Man, we were driving home one day and my son was 6 at the time, he was in kindergarten. And he's like, Dad, we learned about Martin King today. I was like, you mean Martin Luther King Jr.? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, what'd you learn about Martin Luther King Jr.? He's like, but he was a good man and he wanted everybody to get along. I was like, no, that's a good summary of it. And then my 8-year-old daughter pipes up. She's like, yeah, but he got shot. I was like, God damn, you took that dark quick, kid. What the fuck? That's all you remember from everything that they taught you? You know, she's like, yeah, he was nice, but he got killed, so fuck everybody. she's a realist. But right about that same time, my oldest daughter piped up and she said, yeah, he got shot watching a play with his wife. And I was like, no, you got your assassinations mixed up. I was like, that's Abraham Lincoln. And she's like, yeah, but he was killed by Billy Ray Cyrus. I'm like, no, that's not what happened. I mean, Billy Ray Cyrus did not kill Abraham Lincoln. He did kill country music. We'll give him credit where credit's due. But he didn't kill Abraham Lincoln. We can't put that on here. That would make it even worse with the whole lockdown, the kids at home and everything else. My 6-year-old son broke his leg recently. And it was so terrible. He had a cast from here all the way down. And he broke it because he was outside playing with the dogs. And they fucked him up. One of the husky got behind him and the pit bull lab mix jumped on him and he fell backwards and he broke his leg. And so I'm sitting there talking to him one day and he's like, Dad, this isn't fun. I can't be my favorite superhero, the Flash, anymore. Because I can't run because I have a broken leg. And it's so pathetic. And I was just like, oh, dude, I'm sorry, man. He's like, but I wouldn't have a broken leg if you would have told me to go outside and play with the dogs. Really? And I'm like, how about next time you don't let the dogs pump you, dumbass, and fucking don't put that shit on me. I'm not fucking trying to do with that. But I'm trying to find stuff for him to do while he's laid up, you know? So I ordered a flash drive that has all the old school Nintendo games on it. And it finally came in the mail, so I set it up in the bedroom for him and his sister, and I put on a game that I thought was Mario Brothers. It's called Kamikaze. It's like, it's probably just a rip-off, you know, no big deal. So I put it on and I walked out. And when I got to the living room, I hear my 8-year-old daughter yell, he's naked! I'm like, what the fuck's on that flash drive? I go hauling ass back in there, and sure as shit, there's little Mario butt naked. This naked as fuck, man. And, you know, in my mind, I'm like, you know, maybe he's wearing tan coveralls because it's a rip-off, you know? And so I told my son, I was like, go eat a mushroom. And he goes and eats a mushroom, and it wasn't just Mario that got bigger. No, Mario's standing there with his hands on his hips and his head to the side, and his little 8-bit dick was hanging straight down, man. My wife gave me the controller, she's like, turn this shit off. And I started playing, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, I want to see what happens when you save the princess. This could get really interesting. Like, look, I'm a 90s kid. I can work with 8-bit porn. You know? Well, when I was a kid, you want to download porn, you start to download, go do your homework, go do your chores, go talk to your friends, come back, and there's a boob. You know, so I can work with this. No, man, that's one of the best parts about being married to someone that long, though, is that you have someone to fuck with for the rest of your life. You know, that's one of the perks about being married. We were driving down the road one day, my wife's driving, and the sun was in that weird spot, you know, where the visor won't block it. So I gave her my ball cap, and she puts it on, and she looks around, and she's like, this is awesome, I can see everything, and the sun's not in my eyes. And I was like, God damn, Bill, I'm sorry, I had no idea you didn't know how hats worked. I thought that was a gift. All the kids figured out around 2. And there's another time we're going down the road. This time I'm driving. She's in the passenger seat. And she turns, and when she turns, she's like, you all right? I said, yeah, I'm fine. Just keep driving. All right. I'm going down the road, and it happens again. I was like, babe, are you all right? And she turned and looked at me, and she's like, my pad is pinching my cooter. Oh. I didn't know that was a thing. I'm sorry. I thought you tweaked your back or something, you know? Shit. And she's like, no, what happens is the sticky part gets on. I was like, oh, God damn it. No. Come on. Look, I love you and I support you and everything you do. I'll even go to the store to get the stuff for you, but I don't even know the details when it comes to that, man. And she got pissed off. She just looked straight at me and she's like, oh, really? Well, do I need to remind you, mister, that we have 2 daughters, and if something happens to me before they start their period, it's going to be on you to explain it to them. I hate it when you talk like that. I mean, I think it's just ridiculous that you think I'd wait that long to find another girlfriend. Come on. Seriously. I was looking for a girlfriend when I found you, right? Right? No? Yeah, you're mad now, aren't you? Hey, don't feel bad for her, but she's a fucking savage when she gets me back, yo. She signed me up for FarmersOnly.com as a female and used no profile pic and used my real fucking email and name. Man. And the thing is, these guys, they see Shannon with no profile pic, they're like, ooh, Shannon, that's exotic. And you're like, no, buddy, it's just Shannon. I hate to break it to you, man. I really do. But no, I tip my hat to her though. By the time I canceled that, man, I had so many love letters from bookers, bubbas, and scooters looking for a date. I felt like a cute second cousin at Arkansas family reunion, you know? That shit was just non-stop, man. It really was. But I got her back. It's a constant battle, man. I got her back. My wife is a feminist, you know, blue as they come. And she doesn't know yet, but I just signed her up to go door to door for Trump 2020. Yeah. I think keep America great, baby. The thing is, I don't like the guy, but apparently my wife does. You think you know somebody, right? You know? But being married that long, though, there are 3 rules that I follow that have gotten me to 16 years. And I gotta tell you, the first 2 kind of go hand in hand. The first one is try to make her laugh every day. If you can make her laugh every day, you're good, man. You know? And the second one is don't do shit that's gonna make her cry. You know, like I said, they kind of go hand in hand. If you can control that, you can last a while, man. But the third one, and this is the most important one, guys, please pay attention, because the remote control is not a hill worth dying on. It's really not, man. Just suck it up, watch Grey's Anatomy, live to fight another day. We'd be better off for it, man. She popped her head in the garage the other day. It's like, are you coming to bed soon? I was like, yeah, what's up? She's like, I found this new Miley Cyrus movie that looks really good. I was like, that's a very highly debatable statement. And you know her dad killed Abraham Lincoln, right? You shouldn't be supporting that shit. Another time I walk in the bedroom, she's watching that 50 Shades Freed. And if you don't know what that is, that's the 3rd installment of 50 Shades of Grey, that really shitty book, you know. But when I'm walking by the TV, I hear a kid crying, and I told her, look, I was like, they had a kid? And she's like, yeah, they had a kid. I was like, all right, well, do they spank it? You know, because it's a really strange dynamic going on in that house right now, man. You know, the kid gets in trouble, the dad's like, go to your room, I'll get in there and spank you in a minute. Not you, the fucking kid. She got me into, I walked in and she's like, it's right at the beginning of quarantine. She's like, I think we're just gonna watch every episode of True Blood again. Yes. Like, yay. You know? What the fuck? And I asked her, I was like, why do you want to watch them again? We watched them all when they came out. And she's like, well, when I watch that show, it gets me really horny. I was like, okay, well, that's a plus on the side, you know? But I am proud to say, yo, I did put my foot down on this one, man. I did say something around season 4. You know, because, like I said, I'm 45, I still like to binge. I can binge with the best of them, man. I gotta take a break so I don't throw my fucking back out, but I can binge with the best of them, man. You know, Netflix isn't sending up that message that says, hey, you're still watching this. It's a message like, dude, you look dehydrated. You need some water. Maybe you should take a break. But her big thing now are those big fucking wedding shows. You know, the ones that are just way over the top, man. And it cracks me up because when we got married, I was in E3 in the Navy. There was absolutely nothing extravagant about our wedding whatsoever. But these shows are always like, Jane chose Hawaii with a Pacific Ocean backdrop. Floral arrangement was $5,000. And we went on that show, and people were like, Amy chose the county courthouse with a backdrop of DUI offenders awaiting arraignment. Floral arrangement was free because Shannon stole from the graveyard next door. But man, her big thing though is Disney. It's Disney all the time in our house. And I got 3 kids, so it's Disney. And she asked me recently if I would tell her what I thought about her favorite movie of all time, which is Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, you're gonna hate me under this bit. But she said, I want to know what you think about this movie, because I've seen this movie so many times, I can quote it, and a grown man should not be able to quote Beauty and the Beast. That's just wrong. I just don't agree with that. But I told her, I was like, you're probably not gonna like it, so buckle up, Buttercup, you know? Because, I mean, first of all, every time I've seen this movie, I feel like I've heard this story before, and I couldn't place where I heard it. And finally, one day it hit me. Like, if Belle was addicted to crystal meth and she chained up in a trailer park in Florida, this movie would be called Black Snake Moan. It's the same goddamn movie. It is. Think about it. Scary guy kidnaps a white girl, holds her hostage, everybody's better at the end, and nobody fucking goes to jail. It's the same goddamn movie. It really is. You know? And the catch of this movie is that everything talks, and they go live right now, the goddamn books talk. That's just stupid. I don't understand why they fucking missed on that one, man. But if you do listen to the things that talk, and you look at it in a logical sense and not a fairy tale sense, they say some really cryptic shit, man. They really do. You know, like there's a scene where the candlestick locks Belle in her room against her will, which is a felony, by the way. But we'll get more to that in a minute. But they lock her in the room against her will, and the candlestick says to the beast, he's like, are you sure that this isn't the one that could break the curse? And I told my wife, I was like, what kind of shit is that? How many women have there been? Where are these women? What happened to them? Like, is there a mass grave behind this castle that nobody ever talks about? You know, what the fuck's going on here? We need some answers. And if you want the answers, you're not going to get them from the clock and the candlestick. They're in on it. So if you want the answers, you're going to have to find the guy that knows where the bodies are buried. So you're going to have to go down to the tool shed and find the dancing shovel, you know? You open up that door, there's a shovel in there, and he's all, lay to rest, lay to rest. We just stab him in the chest and bury them out back with all the rest. And sir, you shut that door real quick and you're like, what the fuck was that? And then, when you look at the moral of the story, it's stupid. Because every Disney movie has a moral, right? That's their whole catch. And the moral of this story is don't be an asshole or stranger. Because that's what the Beast did. He's an asshole or stranger. Now he's got to be a good guy and prove it towards the end. And Disney thinks that he meets that criteria. But let's go back and look what happened in this movie. Because, first of all, he kidnaps the dad. Then he kidnaps Belle. Then he trades Belle for the dad. Then he holds Belle against her will. There are 2 homicides on this property at the end of the movie. And not to mention the mass grave we talked about earlier. So we got kidnapping, human trafficking, false imprisonment, 2 homicides, and an entire graveyard of Disney princesses back here that nobody ever heard of because they didn't make the fucking cut. So I don't know if Disney's trying to teach my kids here, but this guy's not a hero. He's a fucking psychopath. That's all there is to it, man. You know, in the real world, this guy doesn't get the girl, he gets the fucking death penalty. That's how it works, man. And she looked at me with this most shocked look I've ever seen on her. And she said, "You're not allowed to rate Disney movies anymore, you know?" I was like, "So you don't want to hear what I have to say about the Little Mermaid?" She's like, "Fuck no, get the fuck out of here." Alright, I'm Shannon Muggeridge. Thanks again so much for coming out.